Ryan Brown and his brother Benjamin were pulled over by Colorado Springs police. This was back in March. Ryan was in the passenger seat. He hit record on his cell phone. Here's what happened next.
What's the reason why you pulled us over, officer? I'm recording this. Police officers pulled us over for no reason. I got this on camera.
Do you have your ID?
I have my camera. I have my ID and I'm recording this, just to let you know.
I'd like you to pass me your ID, please. And keep your hands where I can see.
Am I under arrest? You failed to identify yourself, so I don't know who you are.
Well, sir, you know I'm a police officer with the city of Colorado Springs.
You failed to identify yourself.
He would not cooperate. I just need your ID now.
You failed to identify yourself. My hands are visible. I have the recorder recording. My brother is being put in handcuffs. We're pulled over for no reason. He still had not identified why he's pulled us over. Now I'm being perceived as a threat because we're being pulled over for absolutely no reason. Am I being placed under arrest?
You're not under arrest.
What's the?
I'm asking for the reason why we're being pulled over. You have still failed to identify why you have pulled us over.
I'm not pulling you. You're the passenger. Come on up.
Why are you pulling me out of my car, sir? Take your hands off of me. I have not did nothing. I have not did nothing. I have no weapons. I have no weapons. You have no reason to pull me out of the car. This is assault.
Turn around. Turn around. Turn around.
You see this? You see this? Excessive force.
And with his face down in the grass, you saw the video in. The brothers say the officers stopped the recording. They were placed in police cars and served for resisting and interfering with a public official. They ended up being charged with a few other minor offenses. And the man you saw there, Ryan Brown, he now joins me. He is joined by his attorney, Daniel Recht, former chairman of the ACLU of Colorado. And with me here in New York is Steve Rogers, an expert in community policing and a retired detective lieutenant of Nutley, New Jersey Police. So welcome to all of you. And I've also have the response here from Colorado Springs Police Department. So we're going to get to that. But first, Ryan, let me just begin with you. We saw some of obviously what happened because of, you pulled out your cell phone. But my first question is, what happened between when police pulled you guys over and to when we see your brother getting handcuffed out of the driver's side of the car?
Yes. First of all, I want to say thank you for having me.
Sure.
The officer, when he pulled us over, he approached the vehicle. He asked my brother, he asked him for his license. That was the first thing he asked for. My brother explained to him that, hey, I don't have my license on me, right? We live right here. We're right down the street. We live a couple houses down. He explained that to the officer. I have no problem getting my license for you. From then, the officer just told my brother to get out of the vehicle and come to the back, come to his patrol car, and so he could identify him. At that point, I told the officer, unless my brother's under arrest, I don't understand why he has to get out of the vehicle. Apparently, I guess the officer didn't like my response to that. He didn't like that. He opened the door. He pulled out his taser. He armed his taser. He pulled my brother from the vehicle. And that's when I told my brother, just get out and, comply with his orders. And then from that point, that's when I grabbed my camera and started recording.
So were the two of you arrested? What happened after the video ended?
I was placed in handcuffs and thrown in the back of the cop car for it seemed like forever, about 30, 40 minutes.
And then they let you go?
Then they let me go. They served me and released me.
Okay.
Initially, I'm sorry.
No,
Initially,
please,
they
go ahead.
told me that I was going to be placed under arrest.
Okay. Okay. I just want to walk through this step by step, and I have police detective sitting next to me because I have a couple of questions before I want you to continue, Ryan, with you. So, Steve, when you look at the police report, it indicated that traffic stop was driving slowly in a high crime area. Can you just explain that to me first?
Brooke, you and I have talked about how everything boils down to training.
Right.
Had the officers had reasonable suspicion, and that's a key word, that these individuals were armed and dangerous, then what they did was appropriate to protect themselves. But that was not the case. When they stopped this individual to begin with, they should have told him why they stopped him. Everything went downhill after that.
Because, Ryan, let me just jump back in. To be crystal clear, and you hear your voice asking, why are you pulling me over? Identify yourselves. Did they ever explain to you why they were pulling you over and answer the other questions you were asking?
And he had...
Absolutely not.
Go ahead, Steve.
He had the right to know why he was pulled over. And after you pull someone over, if they fail to comply, then they're obstructing the administration of justice. But he did ask. I saw the video. He did ask dozens of times, why am I being pulled over? And what puzzled me also was he asked if he was being placed under arrest, and they clearly said no. And then he was dragged to the ground and handcuffed. So it's very puzzling as to how this incident occurred. I think there's a lack of training. And that has to be addressed.
Okay, let me get back to the training, but also just to be fair to the Colorado Springs Police Department, here's what I have. It's just a line. The police department was told they cannot comment on the case because it's an active investigation. We reached out, so there's that. My other question, Ryan, your brother was getting handcuffed. You obviously pull your cell phone out. Did the officers explain to you why your brother was being handcuffed?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so you mentioned that
They just
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, they just pulled him from the vehicle, placed him in handcuffs for apparently no apparent reason. At least we were given none.
Hey, Brooke, let's be clear. Why was he put in handcuffs? Because he was a young black man. That's what happened, and it was lucky enough that his brother caught this on video. And in the beginning of the video, you'll see outside of the passenger side window, and the passenger, my client sitting next to me, did nothing wrong. A gun has already been pulled on him. When he starts the video, there's a gun on his head right from that second forward. And he had done nothing wrong, except be a young black man.
I got to tell you.
You got to jump in.
When people throw the race card into every single police incident, it does boil my blood. These police officers, they have some explaining to do, but to say it was because of race is really unfair. The police officers, look, we had an officer die in the city of New York last week. You know why? Because he asked the question, what's in your waistband? And that guy killed him. So these police officers have to look out for their lives. I'm not saying what they did procedurally was right, but that's what we're discussing. What they did procedurally wrong, not race, for goodness sakes.
Ryan, you want to respond to that? Do you feel like you were targeted?
I honestly do. I feel that I was when the officer pulled us over and he noticed that he pulled over a couple of brothers. It escalated. To have us pulled out of the vehicle for no apparent reason, to have us thrown to the ground, have my face shoved into the snow for just asking a question, I feel that's excessive. And I'm hard-pressed to believe if that was a couple of individuals in a nicer neighborhood